I watched the first season of The Boys. Better late than never, right? I initially avoided this show because a lot of people told me that I wasn't going to like it. And it did look dark, and I don't like dark shows. Like, I didn't really like the Dark Knight trilogy. Like, I can appreciate that they're good, but I don't ever need to watch them again. Like, I didn't have fun. So when I saw the trailers for this show, I thought, yeah, maybe I'll get to it, whatever. And then people started telling me how I wouldn't like it. It's really dark. It's probably not my kind of show, which is like, okay, legit. I trust people. But maybe I shouldn't have because it was so good. So if you haven't watched this show, there's probably going to be spoilers in this video, but I'll tell you right now kind of a little bit about how I felt about it in a non-spoilery way. Even if you don't like superhero stuff, which I'm assuming if you found my channel, you do, but I don't want to generalize, so maybe you don't. And I think that even if you don't like superhero stuff, you might like this because it's so much more complex than, I don't know, your average CW Arrowverse show. Those, I mean, they have their complexities, I guess, but it's not really, like, I don't think those turn a mirror onto society the way The Boys does. The Boys is basically about what if the Justice League were real people.
The greatest superhero team the world's ever seen.
Like, what happens to a person when they have this much power? You know, what happens to a person when they have this much power and then they start to lose it? And what are the lengths that some people will go to keep it? And what if the Justice League was then owned by a corporation? So the first episode, we meet Huey, this, I don't know, Joe Blow, average guy, working in an audio-visual store or something, and his girlfriend gets run through by the Not Flash.
Supes lose hundreds of people each year to collateral damage.
And this is kind of the inciting incident for his character. And something I really liked about this show is that this, for Huey, is something that impacts him for several episodes. In fact, the entire first season is because of this inciting incident, whereas a lot of shows, whatever the inciting incident is kind of over at the end of episode 1, and something else will happen in episode 2, something else will happen in episode 3, or whatever. But this one, like, the characters were really real, I think, and that's what really made me love this show, when a lot of people, I think, would imagine that I wouldn't because I don't usually like dark shows. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I encourage you to watch it. Even if you don't like superhero shows, give this show 2 episodes. I think if you don't like it after 2 episodes, then you're probably fine not watching it. But I started watching it with my sister over Thanksgiving, and I just finished it, and there's an honest trailer for it, so I thought we could watch that together, then talk about the show a little bit more. So let's find that.
Amazon Studios invites you to enter the most brutal, harsh, unforgiving world since Amazon's warehouses in...
I'm actually only getting that joke now as I'm editing.
The Boys. See what the DC Universe would look like if Zack Snyder never had to take a studio note.
Everyone was incinerated. Lamplighter had burnt them alive so thoroughly, there weren't even teeth left.
Where Superman is a stone-cold psychopath. Wonder Woman is a jaded alcoholic. The Flash is a junkie who's lost his edge. Aquaman is a sexual predator. Martian Manhunter is a creepy perv. Batman is pretty much the same. And they all work for a company with the outward-facing cheerful polish of Disney, but the internal money-hungry killer instinct of also Disney.
Sequel after sequel.
Seriously.
After sequel.
Also Disney.
Step into the adorable shoes of Huey. He's a pansy who comes from a long, proud line of pansies.
You don't have the fight. You never have. Neither do I.
Who's cultivated
Simon Pegg
of literally everything.
I don't want to go to a second location with you.
I don't think I can do this anymore. I need to go home. No. Okay, no.
He gets better. He gets a little more,
I can't do this. No. I can't do this. I can't do this. Let me out.
You're right. He did say that in the last
when they
episode.
kill off his Robin. And join The Boys, a vigilante group dedicated to keeping superheroes in line. And by in line, we mean dead.
That's not really what they're about
Featuring
at all.
this extremely French guy.
You don't stir, you fold. Now that's what makes them spongy.
This extremely into his girlfriend guy.
Because if you watch that episode of Downton Abbey, then I'm gonna be one behind, and we're not gonna be able to finish.
I love that. I thought that was
I'd much
so
rather
cute.
Be at home rubbing on them toes, baby.
That part was weird.
You're right.
this extremely MacGuffin girl, and this Cockney a-hole who everyone is extremely unhappy to see.
Congrats on your promotion, Susan.
I was happy to see him.
I thought we agreed that you were never going to come out here.
Means you brought that 40,000 you owe me? I mean, why else would you show your face around here?
Oh, hell no. The do you want?
You're like the mold on my laundry room tiles. You scrape it off, comes right back.
Make.
You know, come to think of it, no one's happy to see each other on the show. I guess friendship just isn't edgy enough.
They don't want to be friends instead.
Speaking of edge, prepare.
Oh my god, I was in shock when that happened.
Sneaks up on the deep, and then boom, down.
Makes a shark bite translucent off.
That isn't content with just showing how superheroes would use their powers for evil, but gives them humanizing backstories in a cheap ploy for sympathy. Like how this disgraced white-collar criminal has a kid.
Remember your old man?
Or how this sexual deviant has a
He
kid.
spends most of his free time with his son.
He's got a son?
Or how this mass murderer has a kid.
I didn't realize that before.
Or how this mass murdering corporate officer. You get the point. I hear season 2 has a literal Nazi join the team. But don't worry.
Really?
I'm sure she wants to have kids someday. But in the darkness, there is Starlight, the newest hero in town, with the power to cut down the VFX budget by blinding the entire screen. Watch her follow the girl in her first semester of college hero's journey. And grow from unbelievably wide-eyed and naive to woke AF agnostic renegade in the span of 2 months.
Agnostic renegade.
Only to find that her activism can be co-opted, repackaged, and sold by the very forces she was fighting against.
Watch her stand up and fight back for all of us. Citizen Starlight, coming this fall.
This is why capitalism remains undefeated, y'all. So enjoy season 1 of a show that's able to address everything from corporate greed to the Me Too movement, with everything from laser babies.
That was crazy.
Busting a gill hole.
That was
in
so
a
intense
that reveals the unsettling truth
I'm gonna
of our
say things about that.
superhero-obsessed culture. We're not suspending disbelief when we watch our heroes soar. We're suspending disbelief that they wouldn't burn us all to the ground.
I'll laser every one of you!
Save Martha? Starring New Zealand Jack Sparrow.
Martha!
Luis C.
Savvy, yeah. Oh my god.
Let's go to the couch, have a nice warm pizza roll, and wait for this all to blow over. The IT Cowed, American Psycho, Twilight Sparkle, Adventures in Super Babysitting.
Oh, I wanted a Back to the Future joke there.
AA Team, The Seventh Sense, Ant-Man tease for season 2.
Time for a few more?
Yes, yes!
By ourselves.
Wait, he's Mother's Milk? That's gotta be a mistake, right? Shouldn't she be Mother's Milk? There, fixed it for you. The year 2020.
You think this can't get any more horrible?
Nah, don't worry. Get a little more horrible.
And Exposition News, live whenever it's convenient.
Allowing superheroes into national defense?
If more people were armed, maybe I wouldn't have to save the day every time.
A-Train versus Shockwave, the race of the century.
Starlight shocking the Christian community.
Social media is still buzzing about her controversial speech.
I believe that our encounter was consensual.
That was funny.
Who's that dude that stuck his in her face?
Not this sexual assault part, just like that this happens so often.
All
is
super
funny.
cops are You need someone to tease as the big villain for the second season of your prestige TV show? You call Giancarlo Esposito.
Seriously. Ah! Okay, this wasn't the best honest trailer I've ever seen. That was fine. The show was much better. Unlike The Mandalorian, where the honest trailer was, oh no, it was the how it should have ended was better than that. Anyways, okay, so I think that some of the things that really stood out to me and things that I'm looking forward to when I start watching season 2 as soon as I finish recording this, I'm very curious as to what the character development is going to be for the Deep, because he was sexually assaulted and we don't see a lot of male sexual assault on television or in shows, and I'm curious to see how they're going to deal with that, especially after like the inciting incident of this show, Robin being run through by A-Train, was a whole, like the whole season was about that for Huey. Often, so often, and it annoys me so much in TV shows, in book series, in movie series, like something catastrophic will happen, and then in the next episode or the next book or the next movie, the characters have no lasting effects of that. And to see how this lasted the entire season for Huey, I think that was cool. Like, I liked how the writers did that. I also, even though, like, as the Honest trailer said, it's basically just like, oh, they have a baby, this is their character depth, but that wasn't what it was for everybody. I really did like seeing A-Train break down at the end of the finale episode and kind of almost take responsibility, like trying really hard to blame somebody else for what happened to Popclaw. Was that her name? Popclaw? The corporatization of Heroes was really, oh my gosh, I loved everything about it. I'm really curious to see what happens next. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't actually have that much to say. When I edit this, I'm for sure gonna think of things, but that was a really fun show. And though it was dark, and I don't normally like dark things, I think the reason I like this so much is that the characters were so good, and the show actually spent time developing the characters in a way that made me care about them, and I really enjoyed that. I liked getting to know these people, and I'm looking forward to it in season 2. That I'm gonna start watching now. As always, I hope you're all happy and healthy and taking care of each other out there, and until next time, may the Force be with you. Live long and prosper, and I'll be back. I'm really interested to see what happens with the Deep, because like I said earlier, you don't really see a lot of sexual assault with male characters. And I think I've seen it one other time, and maybe it's just the shows I'm watching, that's totally possible, that in the final episode of Outlander season 1, and I actually never watched that show again because it made my heart hurt so much. That said, after the Deep, who is essentially a sexual predator, is then sexually assaulted, I would really, really like to see how he deals with this, and if him and Starlight come back into contact, what their relationship is going to be like, if he's going to really apologize, not his fake on camera apology, and I think it also really explores like what being good or being, this show in general, maybe not just the Deep, but the show in general, what being good is, what the lengths you go to, and should people be forgiven? And what do we do there? Anyways, thanks so much for hanging out with me. If you want to support me, I am an independently published author. Please grab a copy of my book. There are links in the description. My second novel, Dominion Required, is coming out November 26th, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.